Good morning, and here for Wednesday, you have a complete review of multiplication of decimals. So after you complete your review exercises and speed drills, you're going to complete your review using whole numbers and also decimals. So you will have 1 digit and also 2. And of course, be careful when placing the decimal. Don't just bring your decimals down. Count the places on the top and the bottom. Make sure that if you are still having a little bit of trouble understanding, that you let me know, and also watch yesterday's video, and last Thursday's video also has some tips on where and how to place your decimal when you're multiplying. And here for Wednesday for our language arts, we are continuing to learn about adjectives. We are on adjectives 3. And we are learning the placement of adjectives. So it says on the top that adjectives usually come before the nouns that they describe, like the icy roads prevented our trip. Notice how the adjectives come before the nouns. Sometimes, however, the adjectives are in the predicate, which is at the end of the sentence, like the roads are icy. So both of them describe the nouns, but sometimes they're in front of the noun, sometimes they're after. So we're going to be identifying the placement of these adjectives. So we have a few examples here, but I'm going to start with Think A so that we can work together. So here we have 10 sentences, and it says here that in 6 of these sentences, the underlined word is an adjective, but only 6. And it wants you to draw a small neat arrow to the subjects which the adjectives describe. Do not mark the other sentences. So basically there's going to be 4 sentences that you do not mark because they're not adjectives. But let's do number 1 together to better understand this concept. So here for number 1 we have Jamie's smile was radiant. So here we clearly have an adjective. The adjective is radiant because it answers what kind of smile. So we can draw a little arrow just like I did here to the word smile. So you're going to find the other 5 sentences that have an adjective describing a noun, and then you're going to draw an arrow. A little hint, for example. Here for number 3, we have train underlined. But is train an adjective or is it a noun? So just look closely. There are 4, like this one, 4 in total, that actually are not adjectives. So once you're done identifying those 6 and drawing the little arrow, you're going to go here to Think B, where you're going to underline all the adjectives in the sentences and circle the predicate adjectives. So that means the adjectives in the end of the sentence or after the subject. And then draw small neat arrows to the nouns that each adjective modifies. So if the word does not describe a noun or pronoun, it's not an adjective. So that's just a tip. So here for number 1, I circled and underlined a few, but we're going to do it together. So it says here, Amelia Caswell was a tall, stocky woman with a ruddy complexion. So Amelia Caswell is the subject, was a tall, stocky woman. So this is in the predicate, so I circled them. With a ruddy complexion. This one can also be circled. And notice how I've also, actually, yes, I should circle that because that is a adjective as well. Remember that we are also identifying the articles like a, an, and the, just like yesterday. So now that we've identified our adjectives, we're going to draw little arrows to the nouns that they describe. So in this sentence, it says that Amelia Caswell was a tall, stocky woman. So tall, stocky they are describing Amelia, but the noun that it's directly describing is woman. So we're going to point them all here. And then a ruddy complexion. Now, if you forget to identify a few of the articles, a, an, and the, it's okay. I wrote them here. Just as a reminder, I'm not really focused on those today, but if you can remember, that would be awesome. Just making sure that you remember your articles too. But mostly what I want to know is just where the adjectives are and which is the noun that they describe. So as long as you're pointing your arrows at the nouns that they're describing, then you're doing the right thing. And here for Wednesday for spelling, we have our vocabulary assignment as usual. So if you follow the directions for Monday, then that means that you've already defined all of your vocabulary words and you can easily see and access them. So as usual, you will write them, you will match their meanings. Usually, if you take a peek up here where the prefix, the root, and the suffixes are, you can actually understand the word without looking at the definition sometimes. And then completing your sentences and your multiple choice. If you have your definitions ready, then this should be made much easier today.